Welcome to Adobe Photoshop CS6 User Interface. After completing this unit, you will be able to open an image file, open the various windows in Photoshop, select individual tools and their subsets, adjust individual tool options, and personalize and save your workspace. In this unit, we will look at the user interface components of Photoshop CS6. Let's start with the most obvious area, this central workspace. This is where the image you're working on is displayed. Let's open an image to demonstrate. If we move up to the menus at the top of the window, we see some familiar options: File, Edit, Image, etc. We can look at these in more detail in future units. So we click on File, Open, or you can use the shortcut Ctrl-O. We select an image from a folder and open the image which appears in the workspace. As you can see, when we open an image, a tab appears with the file name of the image and the zoom level it is displayed at, along with the color space settings, which is another subject we will address in more detail in future lessons. If I open a second image, we can see a second tab appears, and now we can switch between the two images by clicking the required tab, like so. If we wish, we can select and drag a tab into the workspace like this, to move the selected image into a window within the workspace. This is useful if you want to view multiple images side by side for whatever reason. You can also reverse this action by selecting and dragging the tab back into its original position, like this. The next area to review is the Tools window, which is the area on the left of the workspace. This is where we will concentrate during this course. If at any time it's not visible, you can restore it like this. Go to the Window menu and you will see a list of the possible windows in the Photoshop interface. If there is a tick mark beside the window in the list, then that particular window is visible in the work area. If there is no tick mark, then it is not visible. If you wish to make the window visible, just click on it in the list here to make it visible, and you can see a tick mark beside it in the list. You can also customize how the Tools window or toolbar is viewed. You can click here to have a single file toolbar and click again to have a side-by-side layout. Within the Tools window, there are many different tools to choose from. We will explore the tools and their functions throughout the rest of this course. As you can see, many tools have a little arrow in the corner of their button. This means that if you left click and hold your mouse over it, you will see the various other versions or subsets of that particular tool. For example, you can see that there are 4 different types of marquee tools under this one button. You can continue holding your mouse button and select the one you want to use and just release the mouse button for that particular tool, and the button will change to identify which subset of that tool is active. So the rectangular marquee has now become the elliptical marquee, and so on. At the bottom of the tool window there are other mode selections which we will get into later in this course. The next area to notice is the area between the work area and the menus. This is the Options window. As the name suggests, this window is where we adjust the variable options for the tool which is active at the time. So you'll notice that I have the Move tool selected, so the Options window has the options available to adjust the parameters of the Move tool. However, when I select a different tool, the Eraser tool for example, you'll see how the Options window is displaying the options available to adjust the parameters of the Erase tool. These options apply to all the tools and their subsets, and we will explore each of these options in more detail in the course. The Window menu offers us some preset work areas for different types of work we might be doing. For example, in photography mode, we are automatically given histogram, navigator, adjustments, and layers, all of which will be covered in later courses. We can also create and save our own workspace to make sure all of the tools we use regularly are exactly where we want them to be. We can open a preset workspace and modify it. For example, I will open the History window and position it wherever I want it to be, say down here. Or place it back as a button, like this. This can be done with any window in Photoshop CS6. Once you have created a workspace to your liking, you can save it to reuse it again the next time you're doing a similar job. You select Workspace, New Workspace from the window drop-down menu. A dialog box appears asking for a new name. Enter a name for the new workspace you've created and click Save. Now I'll click Cancel because I already have a workspace saved, which I'll show you in a moment. When that workspace is saved as a preset, it's ready for you to use whenever you like. If you modify a workspace like we have done here, you can restore it by clicking Reset Photography. And now we can return to my preset workspace by selecting Workspace 1, which I created earlier, back to the way I like it. The shortcut used to open an image file is Ctrl+O. The windows in Photoshop are displayed by clicking on the window. The subset tools can be accessed from any tool with an arrow in the corner of their button. Each tool can be adjusted in the Options window. The workspace can be personalized from the Windows menu and saved as a preset workspace of your choice.